A week ago we posted a video of a spider wrap on the East Falls Glassworks Instagram page, which is a technique that you can use to put multiple wraps on a piece at the same time. So not just one, but two, three, four, whatever. And it got a whole lot of views and a whole lot of people wanting to try it out for themselves, so I thought I'd make this little tutorial video to show you how you can set up that bit. So when you do the spider wrap, you're basically just creating multiple lip wraps that are all set up more or less like a normal lip wrap. But you have to make sure that back end is really, really cold. It maintains that separation in the middle, so you got four distinct, or how many ever distinct lines coming off. Now you can adapt this to whatever you're working on. Like if you're working on just a clear wrap, one way to do it might be to gather on a cold rod and pull all the glass back from the tip. That cold rod will freeze up the glass and kind of hold back on it, and then pull some little points and attach those to your piece, and you can see how I stick it on with the tweezers back on the moil and then wrap it towards the front. Now let's say you want to do a wrap that has color on it, like a frit wrap. In that case you can add frit like normal and use water to quench the back end of the rod, really freezing it up to keep it wide and stable as the glass feeds off the tip. But for the piece that we did in the video, I actually wanted to use bar, and so I wanted a core of enamel white in order to make those colors really pop. So this makes it a little bit harder, and here's the technique I came up with to pull it off. So step one is to make the bubble that I'm going to put the wrap onto. Black overlay, couple gathers, and then stretch it out into a longer, skinnier setup before putting it in the garage just to keep it warm until I was ready to use it. And here I'm using a pipe turner, so it keeps it rotating in the garage so it's ready for action. That's because I just have one assistant. If you got two, maybe you can do it a different way. But so while that's in the garage staying warm, I make a post. Basically, it's just the same sort of thing that you would use for a cane pull. Gather, roll the glass off, flatten it up into a patty, and then let this cool down, and I put this in the garage as well. Next up, Sean picked up a bar of white, and I picked up 3 pieces of bar all at the same time, and then we wrapped the solid colors around the white. Big thing here is that I wrapped it around instead of doing an overlay so that that white was exposed, came all the way through the tip. And that's really important because when I put it on the post, I wanted that white to contact the post directly. I was using some soft colors, so if there was like a soft blue that got in between the post and the bit, then it might not pull off correctly. But having the assistant drop that bit on a cold post gave me that wide back end with the white already on the inside so that it was just ready to feed off onto the piece, each of them being a separate colored core, and as it fed off, the colors kind of bled into each other, going from a green to a blue and back to a brilliant gold. So that was the benefit of doing the technique this more advanced way as opposed to just using frit. After that, it's just a matter of melting the wrap in, blowing up the piece, and making the final product. You can see the wraps transitioning from one color into the other. Creates a really cool effect. So that's it, and I hope it gives you some ideas of ways that you can modify this technique, try it out for yourself. It's a really fun technique, putting on all those wraps at the same time, and you also get a different look than you would if you were to put on like 4 wraps, individual wraps, as opposed to putting them 4 on at the same time. The spacing, the way that they track each other, is just subtly different and pretty cool. Enjoy.